just more of a comment. Just wanted to, are you familiar with Kevin Swanson's book, Apostate?
I am not. I'm familiar with Kevin Swanson, but not that book. Apostate.
He wrote this, I guess that's his big book this year. He wrote
Okay.
a book called Apostate. It's the man who destroyed the Christian West. But your
Sounds like a book I should read.
Well, your sermon, yeah, it sounds like, I think you would like it. Your sermon reminded me of the basic premise in terms of, he outlines like 9 or 10 influential men through history, starting with Thomas Aquinas. And just as far as straying from God's wisdom and moving towards human wisdom is basically how the book works through. So.
Yeah. Thank you. It sounds so always sounds so reasonable first. Just like those golden calves sounded reasonable. How about a couple of golden calves? Everybody give you your gold. Pretty amazing thing to get the gold that easily. Wow. Thank you. Who has another question? Yes.
I get what you're saying about the question everything, but there's a point, I don't know, I'm a little bit, like we have churches not questioning, well, we can't say this because we're 501c3, or we want to protest this abortion clinic, but you gotta be behind that orange snow fence 50 yards. You know, there's a point where we, as Christians, have to question things. I don't know if it's really a question even.
You know, let me see if I can elaborate on that just a little bit. And I would like to ask a person that's question everything, well, even that. Well, if I'm supposed to question whether or not I'm supposed to question everything, then I'm not supposed to question everything. So it answers itself, and it results in flat-out confusion. And we heard this morning from Amos chapter 5, where it's very, very clear, one of the most scariest verses in all of Scripture, where God uses very colorful language, saying, I'm just done with your sacrifices, I just don't, stop with your assemblies, stop. I want to see justice. You make me sick, you people. Your hands are full of blood. I can't look at it anymore. We are supposed to question everything in the light of Revelation. Everything. Everything. I'll give you a quick example. I don't know if we mentioned this before or not. Quick example. I found out recently, I was doing some reading, some research, where the idea of the question in a marriage ceremony, will you have this man to be your husband, lawful wedded husband, came from. We've all seen that in marriage ceremony, right? Will you have this man to be your lawful wedded husband? Found out where that came from, I didn't know. When the early missionaries came to the West, they had to deal with marriages that had been set up sometimes before the child was born. They ran into situations where infants were being married off. Babies, I'm talking about. Now, how would you deal with that if you were a missionary? One of the ways they dealt with was they said they would not recognize a marriage in which a woman could not give an answer to that question. Listen to it and respond to it. See, they questioned those marriages, which, understand, the people themselves didn't question it. It's why they did it. They didn't question that, but they questioned that in the light of Scripture. Because we don't have examples of infants being married off in the Bible anywhere. So yeah. You know, and to follow up on that too, Toby, I love the idea of question everything from secular pagans. Because that's the last thing they do. They have a body of knowledge that they will not question. When they say question everything, they mean you question your stuff. I'll keep mine. So it's okay. Years ago I saw, you might have seen this bumper sticker, your mind is like a parachute. It only works when it's open. Well, what if I'm open-minded about that? I'm open-minded, maybe so, maybe no. But a parachute thing doesn't do too well, because a parachute, in order to be effective, stays very, very closed most of its life. It wouldn't work too well if it was open all the time. Try jumping out of a plane with an open parachute. See how that works for you. We have time for one more question.